Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night, which means it's another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Not Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And Tony. Can you introduce our very special guest?
Sure. We've had her on before for a different reason. She is an actress and director. We had her on for Hacksaw. Yes. And now we have her on for probably many different reasons, but I think one of the main reasons we'll talk about is the Case of Dakota Moore, but AMY CAY.
What's going on, Amy? Thanks for coming on. So the Case of Dakota Moore is your feature-length directorial debut. It's actually is it your directorial debut in general?
Yeah, my first one, yes.
Nice. So that's pretty awesome. So you've worked a lot with Anthony Leone, and you've been able to, see how things are done. So is that what kind of, made you think like, okay, I can do this. I want to just do my own movie right now.
Yeah, pretty much. So staying on the boat and the whole idea, which I know we'll get to, we had basically come up with this idea to do it hands-on through a cell phone. So what better way once we developed the story for me to just take it on myself, filming it through the cell phone, knew exactly how we wanted it to look. And so, I got this, we can do it. So
nice. So he wrote the script or like the idea?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So he wrote it, and some of it was improv, but yeah, he wrote the outline of the story. So then we just kind of worked off of that with, the general outline, and then I just filmed it, and, just all came together
as the day when it went on. So,
yeah, exactly.
So we were talking a little bit before the show that, excuse me. So in the movie, you live on a boat, and you were saying that you actually lived on the boat. And I've always, like, for some reason, since I was a kid, I was like, it'd be cool to live like on a houseboat, whatever. But then I didn't think like, how do you shower? Like, how do you go to the bathroom? Like, is that on the boat?
So there was just a little bathroom that was on the boat there. And then on the harbor there, they had like designated bathroom areas for showers. So I got a key fob from my friend for his boat. And you would just use the key fob, and you could go and take showers, use the bathroom. And then they had little like restaurants in the area. So I'd like wake up, I'd go get coffee, walk my dog. But yeah, there was at least a bathroom on the boat, so that was nice.
Yeah, I was just like, I never even thought of this until just now. I'm like, how do you go to the bathroom? I can, like, because I was thinking like that, like a houseboat, like almost like a pontoon boat that has like an apartment on it, like, but this is like a boat, like where you go down into the cabin, and it was really cool looking. And
it was smaller. Yeah, the little kitchen area, they had like, there was another little down area where like another like where you could sleep, but I just slept like on the main part right there, like right when you walked in on the boat.
Yeah.
So, but it was small,
cool.
But it was cozy. It was just myself and my dog. So
yeah,
fun.
That's cool. And it's a good setting for a horror movie, because you don't really see that much on horror movies. So that's a different setting for sure. And so when you were living there, you said you were working in the area. So were you just filming like on the way to work and then after work and stuff like that? Or were you, because you said you were going to your home on weekends. So
yeah, exactly. So there was a couple of times, like I remember there was one morning I purposely woke up at 4:00 in the morning so I could film this certain scene, because I knew exactly what I needed to do and I wanted to be quiet. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So there was one morning, specifically I remember waking up at 4:00 in the morning just so I could film the specific scene. So it was either early in the morning, which if you've seen the movie, there's one scene where I don't want to give too much away, but you can tell the sunrise is coming up. And then, I'd get off work. I'd go and like purposely get food and I, just kind of add to that setting of like, okay, I'm on the boat, it's sunset, and so it was film, work, film, sleep.
Yeah.
For a few months. So, but it was awesome. Yeah, it worked out.
And that's
sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, it's the craziness that a lot of people don't realize that unless you're like, if your acting is your full career, it's just like a lot of these independent films is like in between actual life. And it's just like what I don't think many people, I mean, in the beginning, I didn't not comprehend it, but didn't understand that's how it worked. It's like, especially like with independent films, it's like, this is your like passion. This is like your second job. In your case, you were talking before.
It's your third job. Yeah.
So at that point in time, it's one of those things where, a lot of people, they'll look at movies and be just like, how could it look so it's like, well, that's because they don't have a month and a half or 2 months or however long
or
now
millions and millions of dollars to do whatever they want. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's, I mean, we've talked about it many a times, but if anybody new's listening, that's crazy how just think you're doing your normal day job. And then after, like you just said, film, work, film, go to sleep kind of deal. It's just, it baffles my mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's dedication right there. I mean, we've had like a friend of ours, R.W. Martin. We had him on for a short that he was in recently, and like it took a pretty long time. They were just doing it on weekends, so he had to like just drive like hours away every weekend for months, just to get this done. And it's just a short film that like it's on Tubi, just like this movie. So this movie right now is also on Tubi. I want to bring that up. So. I definitely recommend checking it out on Tubi because, there's ads, but the filmmakers actually, from what I understand, they get paid from Tubi. Mm-hmm. So go support indie filmmakers on Tubi. There's plenty of awesome stuff on there, just like this movie. And actually, Hacksaw is on there as well, so you can check out both movies on there. So was this your idea, or like did you bring the idea to Anthony and then he just ran with it with story wise, or was it something where you already had this idea, you're like, I need someone to write it, you do this, or was it straight away his idea?
It was mutual. So when I was staying on the boat, he had called me. We were FaceTiming because he wanted to talk about some different ideas for certain scripts that he was writing, and so. I'll never. I was actually getting ready for bed, and I was sitting on the bed area, and I answered him like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "Where are you?" I'm like, I'm on my friend's boat. He's like, "You're on a boat?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm staying on Mark's boat. While I'm, rather than commuting, I'm staying on my friend's boat." He's like, "You're on a boat," like was just baffled. It was so funny. I'm like, "Yes, damn it, I'm on a boat." And I was like showing him, and I said, knowing us, we'll probably end up making some kind of a horror movie out of it because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And he goes,
"Huh. Yeah.
How long are you staying on the boat?" It was just one of those things that we just like, and so we just developed this idea. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm video chatting you, so maybe it's a matter of a vlogger.
Yeah.
We just kind of started developing this idea. And then the next thing I know, there's a script. And the next thing I know, within a matter of days, we're hitting record off of an iPhone 11 Max Pro. And it was just how everything like worked out was just amazing because the beginning scene of the movie where you see me traveling like through an airport, I was actually traveling for work, but I was able to manipulate it and make it look like I was flying from a certain place to California. And so it's just like the way everything just kind of came together. It was like just this big puzzle piece, and it was just amazing. Like,
totally just worked out. Timing was perfect. Everything. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Kind of worked off of it, and it was great. Yeah. So
nice. So actually, Sergio's in the chat room. He just wants to say hi to Amy. What's up, Sergio?
Hi.
What's going on, Sergio? He's a regular in the chat room. So good to see you again, Sergio. But one thing that I was also thinking, I was like, all right, so you're going to a lot of public places. Like, do any of these people know that they're in a movie? Like the people that like got Cat like in the background. I was like, are any of them her friends, or is it just people like real people, or is it?
It was.
Did anyone know?
yeah, it was all real people, and I just worked off of it. Like the scene where I went to that little pumpkin patch area, and I was talking to the guy that working the, you know, I worked off of it. Like, oh yeah, I'm a vlogger, and oh okay. Or the bartender, I'm like, I actually asked her when I went to sit down at the bar, I'm like, hey, I'm actually recording something. I'm vlogging. Do you mind if you're in my video? Just to get her consent, so I'm not like being intrusive for privacy. And she was like, no, yeah, that's fine. And so, no, it was all like just totally raw. Like, just, I wanted it to feel real. So I wanted to make it, and I, you know, so yeah, I just went through it.
And actually nowadays everyone's on their phone anyways. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, maybe 10 years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago, it would have been a little bit different, but nowadays it's like almost normal.
Everyone has
I
a
want to
phone.
say normal, but everybody's walking around. You see them, you know, see them at a grocery store or this. They're live streaming and stuff like. So, I mean, nowadays I think it's more acceptable, or, you know,
It's
almost
more
a
common
wave of things. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Especially since the pandemic. I mean, there's a lot of people who got used to only talking online, you know, not being around people as much, and you know.
But with the social media like TikTok and stuff like this, it's just like
oh yeah, that's
It's just a shameless plug, Tony. Tony's on TikTok and he's doing well. Although I did watch a live on TikTok of a guy peeling an egg. I don't know why. But he was like taking the shell off of an egg but leaving the membrane, and it wasn't a cooked egg. And he was able to get the whole thing off. So it was just like a weird gooey like ball. It was weird.
There's
anyways
stuff on TikTok.
I got too much time on my hands. So that's the thing. But yeah, so what about, there was one guy that like, you're like, excuse me, and because he was like checking out, was that real or was that a plant?
In the Halloween store?
No, he was walking by you on the sidewalk and he turned around, was looking at you, and you're like, excuse me.
No, that's Luke. So Luke Pensabene, who's he produces and has helped with movies. That was just a setup where he turns around and looks back at me. Yeah, that was kind of for funny. That was Luke. Yeah, just
I was just like, wow, she caught like a dirt bag in real life. That's awesome.
That would be cool. That was a setup. Yeah.
You just attack him, and now the horror movies, you're the killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was the thing too. You ended up going to Spirit Halloween and all this other stuff, and you know, so it's interesting. And so people out there that like, oh, I can never make a movie, I don't have the means to do it. Like, she made a movie on her iPhone. There you go.
Yeah. Well, then you had like Unsane too. Unsane was made straight from an iPhone. It just like,
but that was different. They actually used lenses, like they use like cinema lenses, but use the iPhone as the brain for it. You know. But it's still a great movie, and it's realistic because most of the stuff besides the other podcasts I watch, anything else is people just talking to their cell phone. So that's what it looks like in real life, you know.
Well, these phones and what they're capable of filming now, I mean, it's insane. Like, I can only imagine where iPhones and any phone is going to go in the next 2 to 3 years. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, there's besides the iPhone and like Android phones, like I think Red, like the company that makes the Red Epic cameras or Black Magic cameras or something like that, they have a phone as well. Like, it's like, I don't know what the lenses are like for that, but I can't imagine that they're cheap. But but they just keep getting better and better, and the storage is better and better, and everything. So eventually we'll just be living off that virtual reality for everyone.
Seriously, exactly. Yeah. Totally.
So besides the Case of Dakota Moore, there's a whole bunch of stuff on your IMDb and what you're getting into. Like, now doing both, doing the acting and directing, is there one you like more? Do you see yourself doing a little like more directing now that you've got it under your belt, or did you like the acting aspect of it, or how does that work?
Well, I'm actually so with Dakota, not only did I direct, but I edited the movie too. So I'm actually getting into more editing and sound design. So that's kind of actually where my passion is going, that I've actually just like fallen in love with. So editing Dakota, Quarantine Chronicles, Mike and Fred versus the Dead, and now Torment, and doing the sound design. I've actually found a passion for that more than anything, because it's really fun to kind of be able to like take the movie piece it together again like a puzzle piece and then add the sound to it, it brings the movie to life. And so, like watch this like the metamorphosis of it just like come together. Oh my god, I love it. So actually that's kind of where my passion is going. And I've talked to a few different filmmakers that hopefully will let me do editing on their movies. So I'm kind of starting to branch out a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm hoping to go with it, actually.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to like, dabble in a little bit of everything, and like not everyone gets the opportunity to experience that stuff.
Exactly.
So you're able to, from the actress side now moving up to the director side, and you seeing the other end of it, and you're like able to like figure out, all right, I can do a little bit of everything. So one of these days you're gonna write, direct, star, and like some big budget movie, and you're gonna end up going crazy from it. But
that's right.
I was gonna say that's like the life of an independent, actor, whatever. It's like everybody has 15 different hats on, but it's one of those things too. Now your IMDb is growing, so you got a whole bunch of stuff out there for people to check out. So
exactly.
That's another thing for anybody that wants to start. You got to start somewhere and then work your way up, and now you're going to be the next AMY CAY.
That's right. Yeah.
So Quarantine Chronicles is a short. Is that available to watch anywhere?
Not yet. I think Anthony had talked about, when did he say? I think maybe next month. I know he wants to get Torment done. And then while that's going through film festivals, we'll get Mike and Fred out. Then I know he wants to do Quarantine Chronicles to the public and Halloween Night. So Quarantine is 32 minutes. And then Halloween Night is a 9-minute short. So that will be released to the public within the next month or two, from what I understand. So that one was, both of them are fantastic. So yeah,
that's cool.
And then, I was going to say each one sounded really awesome, but usually whenever we say something, do you want to explain a little bit about the Case of Dakota Moore and then the rest as well?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah. So you want me to talk about what Dakota Moore is about then?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Dakota Moore, she breaks away from her family to become an independent vlogger. And so she ended up developing this mass amount of followers. And, with any kind of following now, especially when you have the monetizations, you get money to be able to travel. So that's what the whole premise is. Her followers pay for her to travel so they can live vicariously through her. And she ends up, one of her followers, Mr. Wednesday, funds for her to go to California. And so being naive and a young, vlogger, she goes out there, but she realizes towards the end that these people, or this person, but has people and followers, has ill intentions, and they've been basically stalking her the whole time. And that's all I'm going to say. So,
yeah. And it's not too far from reality. I mean, there's a lot of people that very easily flip on a dime. There's people that, it's weird. Like you see like the amount of negativity in some of the communities, and I ignore it. I mean, I try to not read comments on other people's stuff, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with having to be like, you're wrong. I don't, because it would be everything in my soul to not comment back and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, then I'll get in a fight. I don't want that. And this real quick too, because I know, so we actually we're a little short on time, so we definitely want to talk about some of the other stuff. But Sergio was asking what your favorite horror movie is, and if you like, what scared you, like if like maybe like one that scared you the most when you were a kid would still scare you now, maybe.
That's hard. So I couldn't. Well, I think we talked about this. Remember, so growing up, I wasn't really allowed to watch horror movies.
Oh yeah, yep.
Because so but my favorite movie, I have two, because my favorite one that I really just like got hooked on with horror movies was Saw 2. That was the first one that I saw when I was in high school. I fell in love with. I watched it backwards. I watched Saw 2 first before the first one, but I fell in love with it. And then it was when I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. That one freaked me out so bad, because I remember I went with a group of friends and the whole theater was packed, and the only place left for us to watch was the very front row. Yeah. So we're with the speakers, and I'm just sitting there like this, chainsaw like digging into bodies, and I'm like, it's like, oh my gosh, So Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning will always have my heart, because that was really the first one that it was just like, because I watched like The Ring and stuff when I was younger, and it freaked me out. But I think to really like understand and like grow that passion for horror movies has to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning.
Nice.
I know a lot of people haven't seen, and it's intense. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a TCM guy myself. Like, I'm a fan of the very first one from '74.
Yeah.
Like, that's like I have like a giant Leatherface tattoo on my arm.
There you go.
It's hard to see. It shows some guns. But anyways, no. But have you ever watched the original from '74?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Okay, so I one of the things I like about that is that it's intense, and it's like it's all implication. Like, you don't really see anything.
You don't, and that
Yeah.
guy's massive. Like he did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
you
no
don't.
longer with us, by the way. He passed away a handful of years ago. His name was Gunnar Hansen. R.I.P. Gunnar. He was a good dude. But yeah, so there you go, Sergio. Hopefully that answers your question. So Quarantine Chronicles, which is one that you also directed, right?
A little bit of both.
Which one? Which was the other one you directed? Because it was listed as 2. Yeah, Quarantine Chronicles. Maybe you're co-director or something on that.
Yeah, because Anthony did a little bit, and then again with the cell phone and setting it up, but it was kind of a hand in hand,
like a joint thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that one about?
So it's a sci-fi. It took place during COVID. So Anthony came up with this idea of, okay, why don't we have this girl that, this pandemic is happening, people are getting, quarantined into their homes, and basically using the phone as a way, like, okay, my friend told me about this app, and I'm going to just do like this diary through this whole, quarantine thing. And what you end up learning is that the government is like purposely making the public sick. And so you watch this girl transform through this whole pandemic, like realizing that the government is in on the public getting sick, and they're using the public as a scientific experiment.
Oh.
And
That's
it's
scary.
very found footage. Sorry, it's my dog. Very found footage with her cell phone, and she just basically records the whole thing and what she's going through. And you realize the government is watching the people through their cell phones through this app. So it's
probably not too far from the truth, to be honest with you. Because this is the thing is I'll have a conversation with somebody about something. Next thing you know, my Facebook feed is full of advertisements for whatever I mentioned. So there's someone listening. Then Halloween Night, you said, is like, oh, it's an adorable dog.
Yeah.
So you said Halloween Night's only like 9 minutes. What's the premise of that one?
Yeah, so that's a concept idea that Anthony's had for a script called Sleepover. Hopefully I'm okay to talk about this. But yeah, so it's he has a few different ideas of what he wants to do with this, but basically it would be called Sleepover, and it's about girls going to, this house party, and one of the girls, not really sure why, again, because there's a few different ideas, but ends up basically going ham sandwiches and like goes and attacks a girl sleepover. But it's a small, it's again 9 minutes, kind of like Baby concept idea. You can elaborate on the story however you want, but yeah, you just,
that's cool.
Girl, yeah, during Halloween, and they're going to this Halloween party, and then this friend just goes crazy.
And then sometimes with those shorts, we've had people on with different shorts, and it's one of those things where it's like sometimes you get what you need, but then sometimes the shorts, it's just like, now I need more. It's like one of those deals where you,
and that's like that. Yeah, that's Halloween Night, because you're just like, wait, what's happening? But that's, sky's the limit. You can just elaborate on the story however you want. So, and
it's the thing is too, is it's like sometimes the short is like the proof of concept too. So like if you're looking for like producers or whatever, like the short is a good business card almost. Because like there was a movie years ago that I saw it at a film festival called Slapface. Read Jeremiah Kipp on for it. The next, he did the full length feature. It's on Shudder, and like, so it's yeah. It's awesome.
Well, Lights Out too. Lights Out. That was a
yeah,
and then they ended up making it into I got like 60.
The whole Blumhouse and whatever.
Yes,
there's a couple. There's another one that's same deal. There's a couple that I think are being made like soon that are based off of short films. So, and actually, I think Guillermo del Toro is doing a whole thing of shorts too, like a whole series of shorts or something. or he's producing
Well,
that.
then
But
you're looking
anyways,
like VHS and whatever, going into
ABC's of
Siren and
Death.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Turbo
Then
Kid.
Turbo Kid. So Mike and Fred versus the Dead. That's one that Tony had the pleasure of watching, and I haven't. Anyways, so yeah, what's that one about? Tony, you can talk about it too, I guess.
Yeah, go for it if you want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, at that point in time, it's almost like it's a horror comedy that it involves two guys, pretty much against. I don't want to say it's like if you are a fan of the what do you want to call it? Now I can't even think of the name of it. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Not exactly along the same plot line, but you get those like two idiots going against now the undead, and they're all. I don't want to go way too deep into it because you guys got to check it out. But it's two people that shouldn't be going up against the dead people that are, because at that point in time too, it's not like they're of sight and sound because they're pretty much potheads and stuff like that. So I don't want to go way too deep into it, but let's just say stoners versus the dead at that point in time.
Exactly. Right.
Well, there you go. And hopefully that one will be out soon, so I can check it out.
Yeah.
And, whether it be on Tubi or if I can buy it or whatever, like I'm down for whatever. I like to support independent filmmakers. So then you have Torment and The Hat Man, which are both in post-production. I don't know how much you can talk about those.
Well, Hatman, I just have a cameo role in, so it is in post, but I just have a cameo role. But that was Anthony Leone and Jannard Harper. That's their movie that they did. So again, very entity paranormal based about this shadow figure that basically comes to haunt people. But that's really all I can say about that. I don't want to give too much away out of respect for Jannard.
Right.
Torment, though, I can talk a little bit more about. So going to be kind of vague still, but it's I play a psycho killer, like a very sociopath. I have this agenda out, and I end up kidnapping a girl and putting her in my trunk for reasons that you'll learn through the movie. And you basically just learn that we all have secrets. There's always, everyone has kind of secrets, and then you learn that throughout the movie. And I just basically play like a Hannibal Lecter, Michael Myers. Nothing's going to get in my way. So that's really all I'm going to say about it. But I know that Torment's our best work yet, from the look, from the editing, the sound, the film, everything. It's our best work yet. And I know you're going to really enjoy Torment. We're so proud and so excited. We're just about done, probably within the next week. And so we're hoping to get that distributed very, 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 very soon. So
nice. That sounds cool.
And
are you assisting in the are you assisting in the editing on that film? Or,
So I edited and I did the sound design.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the coloring. Yeah. So that was
awesome.
So Anthony filmed. I mean, again, we have such a small crew, but our crew's so strong. Like we're just going and getting better and better and better. Even we have some new actors that you'll see. You got Paisley Bird. She did a fantastic job. She's a girl that plays in the trunk. I mean, her talent is phenomenal. Anthony's filming is getting better. I feel like my editing's getting stronger. We have some newer faces in the acting that Amber Burglar's in there as a sister. Like it's very strong, and it worked out so well. And I'm really excited for you guys to see that one.
Nice. Yeah, well, definitely. I'm excited too. So it's talk about timing. Sergio's asking if there's a trailer. So there is a trailer for The Case of Dakota Moore. I was going to forget it, so I have it right here. The Case of Dakota Moore, and I'm going to play it, but our guest is very short on time, so she's going to have to take off. So when we come back from the trailer, Amy will be gone. So thank you very much, Amy, for coming on. And is there anywhere that people can follow you, or that you like people to follow you to see what's going on? Or
Instagram. That's the best place. AMY CAY. AMY CAY page, PAGE, is the best way to follow for behind the scenes and videos and updates and everything that's going on. So
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on. And here's the trailer. And then when we come back, it'll just be me and Tony just talking about stuff. So here we go.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Newest development is that of a Colorado woman, Dakota Moore, brutally attacked at our local beach here in Harper County.
Alright guys, tuning in for Dakota's vlog for
Miss
the evening.
Moore was known for her vlog channel, where she had thousands of followers. As a vlogger, it's quite common to interact with your fan base. Some vloggers receive gifts, while others who do accept these gifts, they're clouded with horrible agendas.
I'm a retired detective who specializes in missing people. Dakota's brother reached out to me when he saw an episode on the TV where I was interviewed for finding the little girl in Texas, Casey Brown.
Time to go to the farmer's market.
Since 2017, there have been 5 attempted and successful murders here in California, Arizona, and Nevada. Authorities seem to believe all 5 of these are connected and that Dakota Moore was one of the last victims found.
And that's the trailer for the Case of Dakota Moore, everyone. So yeah, go check that out. It's on Tubi, which if you don't know what Tubi is, it's an awesome website. It's free. There's apps.
Streams on,
yeah,
pretty much
like if you
everywhere.
have if you have a Roku, if you have a Chromecast or whatever, there's apps. And also the other movie that she was on for originally, Hacksaw, is also available on Tubi. So go check both of those out and support independent filmmakers. So Tony, has there been anything new on your radar? I mean, one of the things that I've shared it with you a couple of times. I've shared things of like similar, whatever. A lot of hubbub behind Killer Clowns from Outer Space because there's a new game coming out.
The video game. So that I think, I always knew there was more of a cult following, which kind of grew throughout the years because then more and more people heard about it and stuff like that. But now I think it just like blew up because now I see it everywhere because of this game. People are now like talking about different social medias on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. People are making like food with it. Like someone made these the cotton candy balls, but they made them out of like a Rice Krispies, so they painted it pink and all that stuff. So now you got food people talking about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. How many different like costumes are getting made from? I guess it's now a huge resurgence because in the early 90s, people talked about it. I remember watching it and telling people, and they're like, the hell are you talking about kind of deal. So, and the game looks actually amazing to tell you the truth. So I just want to I want to know what the hell you have to do. But
right. Well, do you even have like a more recent gaming system? Like, you have a Xbox.
Yeah,
right?
I got the Xbox One. So
yeah,
I
wonder if you can play it on a Wii U because that's all I have, and I have a PlayStation 3. Anyone? Can you play it on that?
Right. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it is the movie I contribute to, like bringing me into the horror because it's one of those things where people always like, oh, how do you remember things or certain movies? That just the premise alone will always be stuck in my head. Because there's certain movies that are like, okay, this was very gory.
It affected you when you were a kid. Yeah, when you were a kid, you watched it and it affected you. So,
but not only that, but even now, like some of the craziest movies, I'll remember more like with the craziest concepts, like Greasy Strangler and Rubber and stuff like that. I'll remember those more, even though they might not be as good of movies
because they're different. Yeah,
because they're different, exactly. So that movie, out of everything, I mean, Exorcist will still always be my scariest movie that, like, still to this day or whatever. But that one just has that like just the plot. I was just like, I kept talking about it and remembering it. So that I contribute to, the start of my horror movie, even though it's more of a horror comedy, and you see some stuff, but it's not, gory. But,
well, look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is one of my favorites, and there's no gore in it. It's all implied. It's implied to the point where it got banned in how many countries for a very long time. So, I mean, it's Silence of the Lambs is also wicked. Like the original is wicked scary, and it's that there isn't like a ton of gore and whatever. That's not even considered a horror movie. But yeah, has there been anything recent that you've seen that you think people should check out?
I mean, I've been checking out a lot of stuff on Shudder, but a lot of it's more of the like Shudder original stuff, like the The Boy Behind the Wall. I watched it. I rewatch it. I watch it when I first bought the Blu-ray, but then I watched it again. It has that like I don't want to say like People Under the Stairs kind of feel to it, but these two kids get kidnapped by this woman, and the one kid gets locked in the trunk of the car, and the other kid gets locked in the wall, and then the one kid in the car breaks out, and he's in that, should I run and get help, but then he hears his friend screaming, so then he ends up going into the house, and it has that like in the walls type feel. That's why it kind of reminded me of People Under the Stairs, where the character went in the wall and stuff like that. So that one I liked. I mean, besides, because I've been watching more like series, so it's been like Cobra Kai and stuff like that. But the one I watched too was X. The
new Ty West movie. Because it's a Ty West. If anything, I don't care about A20. I mean, I do care about A24, but it's a Ty West film, and I am a Ty Westman. Me, I'm a Ty Westman. Sorry.
But they're doing a prequel to it called Pearl, which is, I guess, Ty West as well. So I'm excited for that one, because X, I was just like, I didn't know what to go into.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good.
I liked it a lot, and it was like there were certain scenes in that I was just like, wow.
I can't.
Like,
to be honest with you, I can't think of a Ty West movie that I haven't at least enjoyed. Like, there's. Like, I don't absolutely love all of them, but House of the Devil is still, and even The Innkeepers, which a lot of people are just like, oh, it's too long. Totally, it's very creepy.
Yeah, and it's his forte is like, well, maybe not X as much. I was going to say more slow burns, because X kind of it's not like slow. It's a little bit, but then it kind of hits you.
Oh,
but
totally.
Some of his stuff is very much a slow burn.
Sacrament, whatever. So Tony, Sergio's asking if Tony and I like The Ring. Yes, I do like The Ring. Have you ever seen Ringu, Sergio? Which is the original from Japan. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's dubbed anywhere. I know it's subtitles. The ones that I have are subtitles, but I actually like it a lot more. They actually go into the backstory of the main character. You go into the backstory of the girl a little bit more. So I actually like that. And it's a long series. Actually, there's like multiple from Japan, just like The Grudge, just like
well, they do like a mix where it's the Ring meets The Grudge kind of deal.
Yeah, even they have to be commercialize everything just like Americans do, and they actually had the girl from the Ring and the boy from The Grudge throw out the first pitch at a baseball game in Japan. So as an advertisement for the movie, how tacky is that? But but I do like The Ring, and I saw the American Ring before I saw the Japanese one, and I do like the Japanese one better, but it is different. There's more of a story to it. Although, I'm sorry, anything crawling through my TV is going to be terrifying to me. So so there's you mentioned Shudder. I haven't actually watched that much on Shudder recently. I've been kind of there's nothing that I've seen that's really popped on my radar, but I've also haven't been digging,
But a lot of the things too, I noticed. I every once in a while I'll throw on Shudder because now it actually, before the only way I was able to stream it was through my Xbox, but now if you have a smart TV, they actually have the app that you can stream.
I didn't know that wasn't an option.
No, at one point in time, it was the only way that I could see it was either through my Xbox or if you had like Prime, Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
So now it's an actual app on like a smart TV. So I went on there yesterday and I noticed that they were putting a lot more like classic stuff. I think because for those of you who've never gone to Shudder, I mean, they don't sponsor us, but we'll talk about it because it is a good app.
They don't have to sponsor us. I'm still a very big supporter of Shudder.
So if you go onto the app, they'll have like on the top portion, they'll have different things. Like they have like a Shudder TV where they play movies constantly and stuff like that. They have Shudder Originals and stuff like that. But on the TV, I noticed like they'll give you the rundown of what's coming on, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't see before. Like I think that's why I'm guessing, but people talk about Maniac Cop now a lot that I never really heard them talk about it beforehand. and I noticed they had it on Shudder. So
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if it's
Maybe.
more people are watching Shudder or whatever, but when I do my lives and stuff on TikTok, they'll mention
Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop and this, and I'm just like, where'd that come from? Because
I have a Maniac Cop T-shirt that I got from a blind bag by Fright Rags years ago, and I was all excited because in the first Maniac Cop, Bruce Campbell's in it, and he's on the T-shirt. So I feel like Bruce Campbell. Sergio's asking if Tony has a trailer for what? What would he have a trailer for? So there's a what was I going to say? There's a new show on Netflix that I started getting into. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I like it a lot so far. It's called Devil in Ohio.
I saw that's on the like the queue. If you watch this and you'll like this, so
yeah, exactly. So it's a basically it's just a story about this town in Ohio, and there's this girl who is like she's she's abandoned basically, even though she's like a teenager, and they're looking to put her in a foster home, and it all ties around to a satanic cult, and she escapes from the cult, and she's in the first episode, I want to say, like, because she's the person that is in charge of finding them the foster homes. She brings her home, and she's having dinner with the family, and she's like, "Oh, we don't say grace," and she's like, "Oh no, you can go ahead and you can say grace," and she gives grace, but it's a prayer to Satan in front of this family, and they're all like looking around like, "What?" It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so far it's really cool. I'm like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, but I don't know how many episodes there are. But
usually it's like for like Netflix, if it's a series, it's usually like between 10 and 12.
Yeah.
Or 8 and 10 sometimes too.
What is it? Emily Deschanel is the lead actress, and she's very familiar to me. I know I've seen her in some.
Zoe Deschanel's sister.
I don't know. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. Sergio, do you know? I don't know. Yeah, she was in Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2. I mean, she was in Nearly Departed. She was in the Boogeyman movie. So Sergio doesn't know. He just responded to my comment. And also too, I finally finished the season of What We Do in the Shadows, and it is probably my favorite season so far.
Well, that works.
It is ridiculous. It is so good. And it's cool because there was like one season that Doug Jones was in a handful of episodes, and then he ended up killing his character off by burning him to death. But he comes back because he's the head vampire. So he comes back, and it's pretty great. And word on the street is I'm going to be meeting Doug Jones this weekend. He's going to be at a Comic-Con in New Hampshire. And I was debating whether or not I was going to go because RW is going to go. And I was like, yeah, I'll go up there and meet you because Doug Jones is going to be there, and I'm all about it. And actually, Doug Jones and a couple other cast members from Hocus Pocus are doing a tour of Salem to point out filming locations that same weekend.
That's cool for the second one, I'm guessing.
No, for the first one, like because it was cast members from the first one, and he was in the first one as well, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what's his name?
I don't know. I never saw the movie.
Valid point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're pointing out locations from the first one, like just pointing out like where things were filmed.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So Tony, Kevin and Tony, do you like real ghosts? Do you mean like actual like haunted places, or you're talking about the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze? I'm a big fan of doing some pottery with my loved ones. While we're waiting for him to answer, I'm sure you probably already have this. Go ahead.
The one thing too I want to mention, I haven't seen it just yet, but I've heard usually with certain movies when they come out, it's usually like a mixed reaction. But to tell you the truth, with that the prequel to The Orphan, I haven't heard really many bad things. A lot of people said they actually liked it.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. I haven't heard anything negative, which is weird. Oh, and there's a what is the new movie? There's a new movie that begins with a B. That is a horror movie that is in theaters.
Oh, Berserk, not Berserk. Barbarian?
Yes.
I heard good. Someone saw it and they're like, "This is right up your alley."
Nice.
So
All right.
that's what I heard about that too.
Angel was asking me about it. I was on an episode of That Strange Show. Like we recorded one on Saturday, and he was asking if I'd seen it, and I haven't. But so one of the other shows I do, Black and White Fright, it was my pick recently, and it was a movie just because I've never seen it, and let's face it, there's a lot of bad black and white horror. There's almost more bad black and white horror than there is good, and we've already watched we've already watched pretty much all the good Universal stuff. So I've been digging into like the Hammer stuff, and I'd never seen this movie. It's called Scream of Fear, and it was really good. It was really good. And then I was like, I want to find a better copy of this movie, and to buy it on Blu-ray was like more than it should have been, for the one movie, considering the set.
I think it was the standalone. I'm pretty sure one of the bigger companies, but I believe I had
Arrow. I think it was Arrow.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But Mill Creek put out the Hammer collection, so I grabbed that. This is the first physical media I've bought in a very long time. So there's 20 movies in here, and it was like $50.
And that's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. And there's just a lot. So there's a bunch more that I'm going to check out for Black and White Fright. But I do recommend Scream of Fear. It was again way better than I thought it was going to be. Just done really well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, like there's some stuff in there that I probably won't care about, but still, I have it now. Maybe I will love it. Who knows?
What is that? Half black and white and half color?
Well, Hammer films are like most of them are released by Columbia, but it's like the production company's Hammer, so it's mostly UK stuff. So it all depends on when it started, on the films. But like this is where like Christopher Lee got his start, and so there's actors that have gone on. They made $1 billion, Hammer films, and then they've gone on to do other things. Like some of them have been in like Star Wars and stuff like that. And
yeah, because I got like an eight movie set with like Curse of the Werewolf and stuff like that, where it's like Technicolor and some black and white and stuff like that.
Right.
So I just wanted to know if that set had.
It's a mixture of both. And it's also not everything is horror. Like not everything Hammer is Hammer horror. Okay. There's a lot of like it's very gothic kind of stuff. Like, and that's usually not my jam. But yeah, there's a lot of gothic, like big castles and like proper gentlemen and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's that. I enjoyed that movie. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, I say check it out. It's available like it's on a couple. Like I actually found the one that I watched to review, like for the Black and White Fright. I ended up. I don't know if you've ever messed around on archive.org.
Negative.
Go to archive.org. There's so much stuff on there. If it's ever been on the internet, it's there. Yes. Yeah. Which is unfortunate as well. But like I was looking for like, cause I like old Doctor Who, and there's like I don't think it's on Tubi, maybe it's on like Pluto TV, but there's like a Doctor Who channel. The other thing is that it's all old school Doctor Who, like black and white stuff up until like up to before 2005. And they don't show anything in order. Like none of the episodes are in order. So if it's something would be like a multi-part episode, like multi-part, storyline, and it's
before.
Yeah, exactly. Or you might get the second one and then never see the first one. So they have all of the old Doctor Who stuff out there too, but you have to, episode by episode. But yeah, I do recommend archive.org. So go check out Scream of Fear there. But Sergio is asking if we like real ghosts, like people that have died. So yes, I want to be a believer. I got to say that. It's weird. I want to be a believer, but I'm also not a religious person. Like I don't necessarily believe in everything that, I grew up like going to church, like pretty religiously. Get it? Huh? Get it?
I think a lot of the times if you're brought up that way, like especially if you go, like I went to a Catholic school. So at that point in time, it's one of those things where I think a lot of the people that went there are worse off or like believe less than someone who.
Some of the most messed up people I've ever known in my life, like growing up, went to Catholic school. Like that, all the kids that I knew that were into like heroin and like stuff like that were all Catholic school kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I went to a public school where people were like legit getting stabbed in the hallway, and it's like, yeah, we had none of that. We had none of the heroin because everyone was too busy stabbing each other. But yeah, I do. I mean, I want to believe in ghosts. Like, I was part of a paranormal team for a while, and I want to believe in it because I don't want to think that when you die, that's it. I want to believe that there's something else, but at the same time, too, I don't necessarily believe in, religion. But I can almost separate the two. I think organized religion is for some people. It's not for everybody. I grew up in it. And yeah, it wasn't Catholic. It was Episcopalian, which is Catholic light. I always joke around. It's Catholic with half the guilt. But so I grew up Episcopalian. I was in the choir, like up until like high school, I would say. And then I realized that the church was not there for the reason that it should have been. Like, I don't know. It was weird. Like it made me realize that I don't need church to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm going to live my life the way that I feel is morally fit and I can live with myself, and then that's that. But yeah, Sergio, I do believe in ghosts. I kind of believe in ghosts. I've experienced some things from my youth and I've been involved in some things that I've seen that or experienced when I was part of the paranormal group that left more questions than answers, I guess. Nothing concrete, but it was definitely an experience I had while I was there. I've had experiences in the room with other people where I was completely calm. The other guy that was part of my team was completely calm. Everyone else in the room was flipping out, but it was just like, we don't know what's going on. Like, we don't know what this is. Could be anything. Could be the environment that we're in, like, whatever. So I don't know. I do believe in it somewhat. Tony, you?
I mean, I never, in my conscious mind, never really dealt with anything, but there's plenty of times where you think you see something, but you don't know. So, I mean, it's not that I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
Because plenty of people that I know said
I've had some kind of experience. Yeah.
So I've known more people that have experience with that than myself. So I can't say, but me, myself, I mean, I never really dealt with anything.
Right. So I grew up too hearing my dad talk about it because my dad worked at the time, which was the oldest mental institution in Massachusetts, which has since been demolished. But they had two buildings. One of them was shut down like years ago, but they used it for storage. And they would have to go through like the tunnels between the buildings to get stuff. My dad was a nurse. And he's like, we would go in and it would sound like a completely functioning hospital and there's no one there. Like you could hear people talking, you could hear people walking, whatever, but there was no one there. So my dad telling me stories like that, they actually wrote a book about that hospital being haunted, stuff like that. And then, I don't know, there's other things I've experienced like here and there. But again, nothing is concrete. Nothing is like, yep, this is definitely what it is,
Because you never know if it's your mind playing tricks on you or something like that.
But there are some weird things I can't explain. What's up, Wolfie? Wolfie's in the chat room. What up, Wolf? So there's one thing that I definitely, this is probably the thing that I've experienced that definitely made me think like there's something else going on. This was years ago. I was living with my sister still. I was making dinner, and randomly in my mind, it had been years since I'd seen my friend and seen his mother. But me and my friend Mike, around Christmas time, we would sit around the TV and on our cable network, people would be able to send in photos of their family at Christmas time. And they would have like Christmas music playing. And they would just go through like a cycle of like photos of these families. And we would just sit there and make fun of everybody. Like to the point where we would just be crying because we were laughing so hard. Right. And so I hadn't thought about that in a very long time. And I was making dinner and it randomly popped in my mind. Like it just randomly popped in my mind. And then I ended up finding out a few days later that day, his mom had passed. So first off, why did that randomly pop into my mind the day that she passed? Right. And then this was like a little while after, and me and my wife, who's now my wife, went out for a ride, and we went to a mall that we'd never gone to. And I was like, I used to work in that mall years and years and years ago. And I was like, oh, let's go around this way. And we pulled around this one way, parked. And as I opened the door, my friend Mike, whose mom had passed, was coming through to go outside on his break. He had worked in the mall, had no idea where he worked. Don't know why he chose that door. And I just happened to be going in as he was coming out. And he just like gave me a hug. He's like, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. I'm like, I had no idea. But it's weird, like what brought me to that mall, what brought me there at that time, whatever. So that's a weird thing. But yeah, I don't know. So stuff like that. It's like, all right, what was it?
It has
Just
to be something.
Yeah.
You know.
right? What is it? Who knows? I like to think that there is, because I don't want it to just be like, hey, bye.
Nope.
You know, I don't want that. But yeah, other than that, I really haven't been checking out too much. I've been busy.
I'm waiting for Terrifier 2 to come out. I've been hearing a whole bunch about that. So
Yep.
with screenings and stuff like that, people have been,
Yeah, you know what's
talking it
funny
up.
is that they had a screening, they had like a premiere of it in the UK the same week or weekend that I was the next table over from David Howard Thornton at that convention. And he still hadn't seen the movie.
I think I don't remember what it is exactly. I don't know if it's a screening, but with the New Jersey Horror Con in AC, which this time I'm not going to be able to go. But they said it David and I think
Damien.
I think
Or
it's
the
Damien,
actress?
David, and
And the lead
someone
actress?
else, I think, are all going to be there, and I think it's going to be a screening. Could
That's
be wrong,
awesome.
but
That'd be cool.
that one is that one's up in my mind. And then Phantom Fun World, when that actually does come out and stuff like that, we've had people on from that movie, so I'm interested in that one. And
Yeah.
I mean, for a while I was always looking on like Amazon for a lot of the Shudder releases, but it looks like that kind of slowed down a little bit because it seemed like almost every other week something else was coming out. So
Well, Wolfie taught me that you can go to Dollar General or whatever it is, and a lot of times the Shutter stuff
Yeah.
will be there.
yeah, there's
So-
a lot of it that's like, at that point in time too, it's a nice. The only thing is some of them like are bare bones. Like I'm one of the main,
Yeah, but if it's a good deal and it's a good movie, like it's like
but still I mean one of the main reasons.
yeah, you
I
like to collect the good stuff,
is the behind
special
the scenes
features,
stuff.
and yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There really hasn't been much else on my radar. I've been like super busy with work and juggling too many shows. So yeah, because we only have a couple minutes left, but I produce a show for RW Martin called All Our Yesterdays, and it's been very fun. We've had a lot of really cool guests, and we actually have the mean one from Little House on the Prairie, the mean little girl. I forget her name, but she's going to be on this Sunday. So go check that out over on All Our Yesterdays on Facebook. And plus, I've been kind of more regularly doing that Strange Show every couple Saturdays. Black and White Fright, Violence Buffet, this show, many other things. I don't know. There's a lot between that, cons and work and trying to have a life. I started going back to the gym.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is Violence Buffet on is just audio or is it video?
I think it's only on YouTube. I think. I don't know. I just show up. And it's funny because some of the ones that I've picked have been pulled down as well. For some reason, if it's like a movie from like Japan or Korea or whatever, like it gets a copyright strike immediately. Even though it's like short little snips and we're talking over it the whole time, they still copyright whatever. If that showed up on someone's movie, they would be pissed, So I'm actually I got a fun one for the next time. It's going to be I finally, I don't know why none of us had ever done it, but I grabbed stuff from Dead Alive. So that'll be fun because Mike's never seen it.
Watch Society.
What is it?
Society.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
Is
ever
that the
seen
one with the person has like a face for a butt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it.
At the end where it's called shunting, where everyone just melts into each other.
Yeah. Shunt. So Tony, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Tony Has Nine Fingers, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, whatever have you. I got to get back into the swing of thing, even though YouTube's a little weird. But
TikTok is also weird. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is weird, but YouTube, also Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter, which I hardly ever use. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, where I do movie reviews, show off some stuff in the collection and stuff like that. No twerking.
You twerk from the front. Make them nuts bounce. Sorry, go ahead.
Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday, most Tuesdays, where we either have a guest like Amy today, or if it's not, you get a little bit of both in this one. You get a little bit of guest action and just random horror stuff. So if you enjoy yourself, definitely check out. For anybody that's listening, I say definitely come over to the video side, because not only will you be able to see our lovely guests,
you can ask questions.
You can ask questions. You can, check out the trailers for the movies and stuff like that. So I'd say anybody that listens, come over to the video side as well. So check it there, and also check out the. I gotta fix my phone; it's down again. But check out the Wicked Horror Show Instagram, where you can check out previous guests and stuff like that, with all the thumbnails that Kevin makes. Kevin.
So I already mentioned all the podcasts I'm part of. But you can also follow me on A Knuckle Over on Instagram. And also, here's another thing. So we're gonna have a guest that's kind of a larger guest on in the next couple weeks. From some classics. He's been in a ton of things. Some John Carpenter movie, a Stephen King movie, a bunch of things. He's dabbled in a lot of things. Even recently, he's been on stuff like The Orange is the New Black. Like, he's been on a bunch of things. This is, if you're gonna need to tune in for that one. So you need to be here to ask questions. But that'll be fun. It'll be the next couple weeks. I believe the 27th, is when we're going to have that guest on. At least that was the last email I got from them. So we'll see you then, and we'll see you next Tuesday as well. And thanks for watching / listening, and thanks Sergio for always being involved, and Wolfie who stopped in for a minute. And we'll talk to you later. Goodbye. For those who are listening, Tony's waving with his good hand. All right, bye.